My friends, welcome to the Mario Matter, your favorite Nintendo podcast with your host EmSwizzle or Max, whatever you want to call me, either one is good. Episode number 76 with a super stacked Nintendo-filled news, juicy, awesome sauce show. Not only an awesome show today, we also have a special guest joining us who I will formally introduce just in a few minutes here. However, I do want to discuss right now what we're talking about today, who the guest is, and how this show will work, and how guest shows that are not interviews will work. So, whether you know it or not, guys, Nintendo is in shambles. There was supposed to be this big Nintendo Direct presentation this week. It didn't happen. What is going on? These leakers who are supposedly credible are wrong, it seems. What's happening? Who's wrong? Who's right? We're going to talk about all of that. Our guest today, guys, is cdotkom, a fellow Nintendo YouTuber who I will once again formally introduce in a few minutes. He's an awesome dude. We have an awesome conversation here for you guys. And how will this show work with guests? You guys might have seen me. I've interviewed Nathaniel Bandy before. We've had a guest on the show, and that was an interview. I kind of want to have guests on to be co-hosts for this podcast. So if you guys have seen the show, I dive into Nintendo news, I dive into bigger, topics about Nintendo, and then at the end of that, I answer your questions. Basically, the show will be the exact same. However, the guest today, who is cdotkom, will be joining us to talk about the exact same stuff, but we also get his perspectives on all of it. So if we talk about Mario versus Donkey Kong or the whole Direct situation, we will get my thoughts and his thoughts this time. So that is how guest episodes will work. Imagine this podcast with a co-host. That is what it'll be. But with that said, guys, I don't want to delay what you want to hear. Let's go ahead. Let's get to the Nintendo news headlines segment where we introduce Charlie, cdotkom, and dive into all the good stuff that you want to hear about. Let's go.
Welcome to the Mario Matter, the #1 Nintendo podcast.
Ladies and gents, our guest today is a fellow Nintendo YouTuber making waves across his channel through YouTube Shorts, videos, his video game marathon live streams, and so much more. He's got it all, and he's just like us, wondering where the heck is this Nintendo Direct? Ladies and gentlemen, it's cdotkom, or Charlie. How's it going?
Hello, I'm doing quite well. Where is the Switch 2?
Well,
that's what where's the Nintendo Direct? Where's the Switch 2? I'm lost in a maze. And the maze is Nintendo's Twitter, apparently.
Listen, we can't trust leaks anymore, because they're never right.
Leaks are like completely opposite to what they actually are meaning than they are correct most of the time.
I like to believe them because you look at their history, and then it's like, they have a great track record, and it doesn't happen. That's what sucks. Man. But before we get into news and stuff, I do want to introduce you, talk to you, about your content.
Of course.
I like to ask this question to any guest. What is your origin story? How did we get started with YouTube and all the rest of it?
Oh, okay. Oh God, this
take us back.
My channel was made in 2011, and I was a wee baby lad there, and it was mainly started. My first, you can't see it anymore, but my first video was a Mario Galaxy 2 Let's Play. We'll probably talk about Mario Galaxy later on in the cast here, but mainly that, some old stop motion animations with all my plushies, especially Kirby, if you couldn't tell. And about, I'd say around 2020, I said, screw it, let's try actually making this a thing. Started streaming on Twitch. That kind of evolved. Then I said, wait, Twitch kind of sucks for streaming. So then I hopped on over to YouTube. And then it's been that ever since. Started the Zeldathon, which played every 3D Zelda before Tears of the Kingdom came out. That was a fun time. Forgot how good Twilight Princess was. I gotta say, great game there. Have you played Twilight Princess?
I was about to say, that's one that I have not played, because I haven't, when I was younger, I wasn't into Zelda as much, so I kind of got into it like a few years ago, and I've played Breath of the Wild, Skyward Sword, Tears of the Kingdom, and I've not gone back and played Twilight Princess or Wind Waker. I have to play those ones.
But they're coming to Switch, right? Right?
That's another leak. That is probably wrong.
Oh, how long? Those have been going on for 4-5 years. They're coming to Switch.
Yeah.
It's not.
where did the first Nintendo experience for you come in? Like, when was that? How did your passion for it start?
I think it was my parents for Christmas got either a Nintendo Wii. I'm very hazy on this because it was obviously so long ago.
Yeah.
But it was either getting like a Nintendo Wii for Christmas and like playing Wii Sports and Mario Kart. I vividly remember DK Summit Mario Kart Wii for some reason. But I think it kind of started with playing Smash Bros. Melee at my friend's house after school. I think that's mainly where it started. So
those are core memories, I can tell you.
Core memories.
I didn't live them, and I can tell you that. Anything like getting a console for Christmas is just awesome. That's a core memory right there.
Yeah. I think I also got that for like my first 3DS I got too. I think I played through like half of Mario 3D Land on that day alone. It was it was a good time.
It's awesome. Great game.
Yeah. Great.
All right, but we can dive into some news here. We have news. This is the quote-unquote Nintendo news headlines segment there. We've got a bit of news for Mario vs. Donkey Kong comes out this Friday. We got Princess Peach Showtime stuff and a rumor. Oh, a rumor. But you know what? It's kind of interesting. So I do want to talk about it. The first thing we can discuss is probably the most recent topic as of now. This podcast gets posted Saturday, which is the day after Mario vs. Donkey Kong has released. And the reviews are in. As we know, during the week, review scores come out from all the big game stations, all the big, what do you call it? The outlets, the gaming outlets.
Yeah, the journalists, the review sites, all that.
Indeed.
I must say, looking at the review scores here, IGN giving it a 7 out of 10 is the most IGN thing IGN could ever do.
That is the most IGN thing. I feel like, and I talked about this, I feel like they don't give good review scores for remakes that aren't like cult classics.
Yeah, I'd say so as well. I mean, wow, I wonder what the review scores on Metroid Prime Remastered was.
Big.
Let me see this.
But I do want to talk about these review scores here. So right now, Mario vs. Donkey Kong is a 77 on Metacritic. So a 7.7 out of 10, 77 out of 100. Have you pre-ordered the game? You're playing
I have
it
pre-downloaded. I haven't played it yet, but I'm going to run through it all. If this is being out on Saturday, I've ran through it all already yesterday. And I'm assuming I've had a pretty good time with the game and enjoyed it because it is a classic after all.
It definitely seems very fun. I've played the demo. I know that you said that you haven't because
I haven't and want to
kind of want to wait for a surprise. It's a nice, fresh little remake without spoiling much for you.
I've seen like videos and stuff. It like visually, it looks really good,
crisp.
You know,
nice.
Yeah, it's like nice and crisp.
IGN gave it a 7 out of 10. GameSpot 7 out of 10. Game Informer 8 out of 10. Destructoid 7.5 out of 10. Game Reactor 8 out of 10. And Eurogamer 4 out of 5. So I mean, it could be worse. But the reviews are in there. And then one more thing. Before we dive more into Mario vs. Donkey Kong, it did get an update already before it even came out. It's out now as of this podcast, but they fixed an issue, bug fixes where, you know, let's read it. Where on rare occasions the controls would become unresponsive after activating help in the first half of stage 1 and stage 6-1. Sorry, stage 1-1 and 6-1. And the fix also applies to the demo. So if there's anyone who has not played the demo yet, you shouldn't run into a bug. Very small fix, but
very small. If I'll have my game dev knowledge pop in here because I am one of those.
Oh yeah,
it's probably 100% tutorials. You activate the UI controls and then they just forget to turn off the UI controls.
Exactly.
So that's what day one patches are for. So
yeah. So expect to download that on day one, but that's really all there is for Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Then Nintendo dropped a bomb on us. We got Princess Peach Showtime. I feel like there's so much news for the game.
There is. And it just looks like such a fun time. Like I just want to. I'm in the stage. It's Showtime, and I'm Princess Peach. That's all you need to know about it.
That's all you need. And they have revealed more of the outfits or the, what'd you call it? The
costumes? abilities.
Costumes,
The Kirby
there you
copy
go.
abilities, yes. Yeah, basically.
Which one as of now is your favorite?
I'd say either like the thief one that was just shown, because I've been playing Persona 5 recently. I have a huge backlog, and I'm like, it's like Joker. Or Mighty Peach. I don't know. Those two I vibe with.
Yeah, those are two of the newer ones. We got Figure Skater Peach shown off. We got Dashing Thief Peach, Mermaid Peach, and Mighty Peach, which is like a superhero Peach, pretty much. I don't know. I the only thing is, I feel like we're getting to the point where there's like almost too many. Like there was 4 in the announcement. There was like 4 more later. Now there's 4 more.
I think.
Do you feel like that?
I think it's 10 actually.
Oh, is it 10?
I don't know if it's 12 or 10, but I have a feel. Let's fact check this right now.
Check it. Fact check that.
Yeah, because I know, to kind of relate it to another game, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, that only has, and I do not have the trailer. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, only 10. There's only 10 costumes right now. There's the thief, figure skater, mighty mermaid, sword fighter. Then there's Kung Fu Cowboy. I think that one's ninja. It's kind of obscured by the play button. Then we got the chef and detective. Yeah. So it's only 10 right now. There's probably going to be more that they haven't said yet.
Yeah, probably.
I'm going to assume. But with something like Kirby, like each of those different abilities you get in Kirby just completely change up the way how you play. And it seems to be the exact same thing here. So I'm very much looking forward to it. And then there's obviously just regular Princess Peach and the regular Princess Peach fit. So it looks like it's gonna be a bit more interesting. I didn't really give it much like, oh, okay, this looks like a fun time. I'll pick it up and play it. But I'm like, I want to pick up and play this,
Yeah, I mean, it's always a nice day when you wake up. It's like a Thursday and you see a Princess Peach Showtime tweet from Nintendo. Like they're promoting it very, very hard. You're obviously gonna buy it, right?
Yes, I might stream it. Who knows?
Can we get a Princess Peach marathon? Play the Super Princess Peach.
I don't know if I can
whatever.
play Super Princess Peach. I gotta find a way to capture my ideas.
And then this one, yeah. So I'm excited. Princess Peach's second game.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it should be awesome sauce. That's coming out. Then here's part of what you all might have come for. We've got a rumor about Nintendo Switch 2.
Boy.
Now here's the thing. Before we get into this, I feel really terrible reporting on any rumors after what I did last week. Last week, Charlie, I brought like everything to the podcast. I brought how they were saying Direct next week. I brought how they were saying Switch 2 reveal in March, which could still happen. I mean, it makes sense because there's no Direct here. But honestly, before we dive into any kind of rumors, what's your take on rumors? Like when you see one, do you look for who said it, then believe it, or like do you believe any of them, or what is it?
Let's see. Well, actually, hold on. Before any of that, the Nintendo Direct, there is like an Xbox business conference, something important going on this week, which might have influenced Nintendo's decision to have a Nintendo Direct or not. I know these things are made like in advance, but who knows? Maybe I'm just coping out of my mind, which is usually what happens in 99% of these cases. But we could see the Direct next week, and there's just a bunch of Twitter announcements that happened this week. Like we even got a new Splatoon side order trailer, and that was pretty cool. Playing that was great. But for rumors in general, I just look at it and say, hey, that would be cool, and then I just kind of like turn the other way. It's not really. If there's anything substantial, it would probably be in a leak. And even if it is a leak, they usually happen a day before like the announcement even happens. I know that usually happens with Nintendo Directs.
Yep.
Like someone says, oh, hey, watch out. There's going to be something cool at the Nintendo Direct. And then whatever it is. And everyone's like, oh, man. And then let's just wait one day, have the collective surprise. Like what's one day going to do? You waited for like 3 months.
I love to be, optimistic and like believe them all. But I guess I kind of have to tone it down because our rumor here is that the Nintendo Switch 2 will use backwards compatibility with digital and physical Switch games, and it can actually enhance the quality if the developer chooses to pursue that. Now, the rumor comes from... Yeah, no, for sure. The rumor comes from Universal Nintendo, who is the same people who reported there would be a Direct this Thursday, February 15th. Can we trust him? Now, I will say the head dude, his name is Necro Felipe, I believe, on Twitter, and he is apologizing for getting the previous direct leak wrong. You're probably in favor of backwards compatibility, huh?
As someone who is very much a digital collector in terms of games, I barely have any like physical Switch games. The only physical Switch games right now are being used to prop up those plushies. So like I have a 500 gig SD card in my Switch, and that's just all being used for stuff. If it's like graphically like enhance and make it like games run better, if it is backwards compatible, I do think that would be just a great thing to have. Because my favorite game of all time is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and it runs great on the Switch, but it could run better, and that would be pretty cool. I know Monolith Soft would definitely be willing to add that extra upgrade. So, please. Even
like Tears of the Kingdom, 60 frames per second. That's gotta look beautiful.
Yeah, that would be nice, definitely.
That would be awesome. I mean, and like they're saying that it's gonna have the power of like a PS4 or an Xbox One. You could probably get a nice Zelda game running at 60.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if the Switch is currently right now running on basically 2015 hardware, even if the Switch 2 is running on, let's be bleak, and 2020 hardware at most, that's still way more than enough to run everything at 1080p 60 frames per second, because 4K you don't really need 4K. If Nintendo wants to keep costs down on a new console, I don't think you should invest in 4K capability, especially when this thing's already most likely going to be portable and most likely going to have to run every other Switch game as well. So you still have to have somewhat same infrastructure. It really depends on, let's see, what was I even saying? It's backwards compatible, yada, 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 yada. What I think is going to happen for the Switch 2, all right? And now this is like my dream console. I had to bring out my DS for this to kind of fully explain my point.
Oh, yeah.
I've made a video on this, but the DS has 2 screens, right? The Switch 2 is going to have 2 screens. You can detach one of the screens, dock it into the console, and now you have a Wii U gamepad.
That is the way. That
Launch
was actually...
title, Nintendo Land 2.
There you go. See, there was a patent that came out where like that looked like that was what they might be doing. That's 3DS backwards compatibility. That's
and
Wii U.
Count. Yeah, every single Nintendo console.
That's everything really. Because like even if you have,
if you want to get into it, even Game Boy Advance, the GameCube link cables.
Any of that, like it's just the perfect way. The only problem is like the price is gonna probably be a lot higher,
unless they don't put any of their focus into like 4K stuff. Keep the power relatively. Maybe it would be a jump definitely from 2015 hardware, but the leap in graphics has become exponentially smaller as time has gone on. You look at a game from 20 years ago in the 2000s to a game in the 80s, and there's such a big gap. But if you look at let's say Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime Remastered, yes, there is a big jump there, but not as much. We didn't go from pixels on a screen to actually like rendered polygons, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that if Nintendo makes a huge beefy gaming console, they kind of lose in that regard, because they'll lose basically a lot of people who aren't willing to put that much money into a gaming console.
And they would then probably be competing with like PlayStation and Xbox, and I feel like that's probably a losing battle. You're kind of known for your more fun systems, your detachable Joy-Cons that take your Switch anywhere. You don't want to really
Nintendo Switch has games, and that's all it needs to have. It doesn't need to have like super good specs. It just needs to have games. And the Switch games we already have look fantastic already. So I don't really think there is a need for an upgrade of like a extreme caliber. Just make them run smoothly, and that's it. Maybe so it looks like Game Freak actually makes a well-running game.
I feel like all the first party Nintendo games should be a consistent 60 frames per second, and most of them are, but we need all of them. That's what I would want here. It just looks so much nicer. Even like if you look up emulated, Breath of the Wild gameplay, 60 frames.
Yeah,
it just,
60,
oh my gosh. That's what I want for that.
It is definitely nice. Especially when looking at something like Kirby Star Allies compared to Return to Dreamland Deluxe. It's just, Return to Dreamland Deluxe is just so much smoother. Now, granted, it is a probably less graphically intensive game than Star Allies. Yeah. But the 30 to 60 jump is just, especially for platformers, I find, just so nice to have.
It is awesome. I mean, it's like the biggest thing I want with any of the games right now. But yeah, I believe a bit of a slower news week. That is the news to cover. I want to go ahead and dive into what we all want to hear about and talk about. We could go on for hours about this.
We could.
Let's dive deeper.
Get ready for a long podcast, folks.
Into Nintendo Direct. What is going on? Why is there no Direct? Let's talk about the leaks. Let's talk about, is the Switch 2 presentation happening very, very soon? What is going on with the current state of Nintendo? People on Twitter are in shambles. It's just a thing.
Yep.
Let's go ahead. Let's dive into it. So, we wake up today, Thursday, February 15th, as of recording. As of the podcast releasing, it is the weekend. Things have settled down probably, but we're in the midst of chaos, whether you know it or not, in the Nintendo community. There has been no Nintendo Direct announced when the leakers and the rumors said it would be announced, and these are credible leakers and rumors. I want to get your thoughts. Does no February Direct, does that make you happy or sad? Happy because the Switch 2 is closer, sad because there's no new games announced.
With this Nintendo Direct, I don't really think that even if they did show off a new Nintendo Direct this month, that there wouldn't really be much to announce, and everyone would say it would be a bad Direct. That's what I think, because the only games that we really know are happening is Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which is releasing tomorrow, or yesterday.
Yep, all good.
Podcast. We have the Splatoon 3 Side Order DLC, Princess Peach Showtime, Luigi's Mansion 2 remake, remaster, whatever, and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake, right? Those are the only games we have in mind, and we know that they're releasing sometime between now and probably like July or something of the sort. And people are going to play those games. They're going to buy and play those games regardless of any marketing, because it's Thousand Year Door and Luigi's Mansion 2. Like those are some pretty great games that were on their respective consoles when they originally released. So I don't think that a Direct is even necessary in February. But in terms of Switch 2 talk, I do think that if Nintendo wants to follow something, they let Mario vs. Donkey Kong release. Maybe they let Side Order release as well. And then let's say on the 29th, they drop the reveal trailer for Switch 2. And just like how it happens in October back in 2016, with the original Switch, then it takes about 3 months. We get another presentation, like the one back in January of 2017, and then it releases in March. I feel like we could have a similar kind of launch pattern there, because it was very, very good. I remember when the Wii U was announced. It was announced like a year and a bit before the console actually came out.
Yep.
And what I'm thinking, March, reveal trailer, maybe early March or late February this month. Then in June, around E3 time, although E3 is dead, E3, kind of June, July time, we get the full Direct presentation. Metroid Prime 4 gets announced as a launch title, please. And then probably around September, October, I'd say the console get released and everyone is a happy camper when, the full scale Wind Waker remake gets released as well. I'm coping.
That is their entire 2024 plan right there.
Yep, I just called it out. Lock it in.
But it's almost like there's confirmed no Direct, because while there could still be one next week, it'd be kind of weird because I think Side Order releases next Thursday.
Yeah, on the 22nd.
I think so, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's like when they love to hold Directs, and they could hold one earlier, but like I think it's already weird to have a Direct on the week that your game is releasing. Doesn't really ever happen, if I can recall correctly. That doesn't often happen.
Let me think. I don't think there was ever a Direct the same week a game release.
Yeah, like that's kind of weird.
At least. Yeah, I don't think so.
That's weird. And if you remember Wednesday, which was yesterday for us, Nintendo released a tweet, I think, from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. every single hour. That's your direct.
That is the direct. There was
Mario RPG,
or Peach Showtime stuff. There was even a brand new game reveal. I think it was called like YX. It looked like a pretty cool RPG.
I don't ever look into those.
But case in point, we got a new side order trailer as well. Like I think it was an overview trailer, like going over everything, which looks great. And yeah, that's basically all the news I needed to hold me over. That's all I was looking for in the direct, is just more news on Peach, Splatoon, and Mario versus Donkey Kong, which is already gotten.
And they love to like save things for directs to kill time. If you watched like the September one last year, they just, most of it was like, hey, this game comes out in 1 month. You already know about it, but it comes out in a month. Here's a trailer of the same old stuff. If we look at it, we have Side Order, we have Pokemon. Wait, no, that was a different day. We have mini Marios are clocking in, Mario versus Donkey Kong. They would love to say all of this in the direct, and it didn't happen. So I don't believe that we're going to get a direct in February. The leakers are wrong.
Yeah, leakers are wrong. I'm right. Pay attention.
We only trust. Do you follow Puro on Twitter?
I do know of Puro. That's the guy with the profile picture of Puro from Birds and Beans, right?
Yeah.
Let me look at this guy.
I trust him. Twitter pretty much trusts him. But
has this fella ever gotten anything wrong?
Not once.
That's crazy. Looking at their Twitter feed, they seem to be quite a seasoned Twitter user by the looks of things. Especially retweeting all the other leakers saying delete your account. That's funny.
Dude.
That's funny. That's good.
He exposes the fakes, and I wish that he would do it now. But honestly, I'm not gonna lie. When all the leakers were saying, direct next week, I don't think that he even knew if there was a direct, because I feel like he would have called him out. That's a pure old thing to do.
That would be a thing to do, but I still don't think the world needs a Nintendo Direct. I think Nintendo, like, I guess investigators, we're just like bloody Taylor Swift fans. Let's be honest. Going over like, oh, she wore this dress at a concert, so that means the album's dropping, guys.
Yes.
It's gonna happen. Just let things be how they be. I'm along for the ride. I know they're cooking up something crazy, so I'm pretty content when it comes to leaks and rumors like that.
Now here's the last leak or rumor I will drop on you.
All right, hit me.
So do you know when leakers or rumorers or whatever you want to call them, sometimes, not all of them, get things wrong? They like to back it up, saying, oh, this happened, and because this event happened, they're pushing back the direct. So a Nintendo insider who I do quite like, named Jeff Grubb, knows that no one likes to hear this. He tweets, I know no one wants to hear this, but just like when the Queen died, this is real. I heard earlier this week that they were discussing moving the Direct because of the Xbox business update. Do you think that they would actually move the Direct because of that?
I think that if Nintendo... I know Nintendo isn't really a competitive company, right? When it comes to like competing with Sony or Microsoft with the Xbox and PlayStation, because those two guys are kind of digging their own graves at this point. But I think it would be maybe not like tactical marketing or whatever to have it after the Xbox business update, after they say, yeah, we're going to be making all these changes and probably a lot of people aren't going to like the changes. And then Nintendo's like, yeah, here's like 17 new games coming out. I think that would be hilarious. I think that would be hilarious. So I would say that would be pretty funny because it would just like, that'd just be the funniest thing to do in this situation of just saying, hey, what Xbox did was crazy, huh? Anyways, here's like 17 new games. Go have fun with them. It would also be funny because I've already dropped my predictions video.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Because I thought there's going to be no Nintendo Direct, and I don't want to hold on to this video for ages. I'll just let it out to the public.
Just drop it.
So prove me wrong, Nintendo. That's all I'm saying.
If there is a direct, do you think it's a partner showcase or a general direct?
I think a mini.
A mini. Yeah, that's a nice.
I think a mini.
Between.
Because minis can still have like super good. When was the last Nintendo Direct Mini? Hold on.
It's been a while. I think that a mini.
Direct Mini. I think it was March of 2020, the last Nintendo Direct Mini.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a Nintendo Direct Mini partner showcase.
That's a while ago. Really?
Let's see. Or maybe 2022. No, these are all the Nintendo Direct Minis I've seen are partner showcases now. Yeah, the last Nintendo Direct Mini was March 26, 2020, if I recall. And
jeez.
I mean, it had some great announcements. I think, like, if I remember, like the Xenoblade Definitive Edition got a new trailer and stuff like that was crazy. But yeah, even at the partner showcases, they're still good. Imagine Silk Song though. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying.
A mini probably makes the most sense because if you're actually putting out a Switch 2, you don't need to announce like some crazy stuff. Because if you're having a general direct, you'll want to announce a new game, at least one or two. You don't need that if you actually have the Switch 2 coming out within a few months, or if you're going to at least, reveal it in a few months. All you need is a mini. You put out the release date for Luigi's Mansion and Paper Mario, and then everything else is third party.
Yeah.
You can just do that.
You write the book, done. Keep in mind, I think there is a Pokemon Presents usually in February as well. So I bet we'll get, I don't know, like maybe either a remake, or it's probably just going to be another remake of a Pokemon game. Poor Game Freak, dear Lord. But
Detective
it's gonna be like, Let's
Pikachu
Go
DLC.
Actually, I changed my mind. That's way funnier. Detective Pikachu DLC. You heard it here first, folks. And then something like that. I could even see just like one more like eShop Kirby game getting released on the system. And then, heck, even at the Nintendo Direct Mini, this hypothetical Nintendo Direct Mini, it's, we're announcing the Switch 2 next month. We're not going to say when, but it's happening next month. And then just the entirety of the internet goes into crazy mode for the next month until the trailer drops.
That's a very Nintendo thing to do. They'll like tell you a month and they won't tell you when. They did it with the Animal Crossing Direct, which I remember vividly because I couldn't wait for them to announce the date for it, because I used to like cover Animal Crossing and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I was excited for that. And they dropped it on Brewster's birthday. So I don't know if they were to announce it in March, if they would like, so if they say, hey, reveal in March, I don't know if they would coordinate it with some special timing, like March 3rd would be awesome.
March 3rd would be
Switch
awesome.
Anniversary.
But hear me out, Mario Day.
Mario Day is a good one too. You either do Anniversary or Mario Day. There ain't nothing else in March for Nintendo. You can't do it too late because you have Princess Peach Showtime.
Yeah, that releases on
22nd, I think.
22nd. Yeah, that's a Friday. That checks out.
So you can't really do it. You shouldn't do it past that, because then if you do it past that, all the steam goes away from Princess Peach Showtime, and you'll want to do it in the beginning. And all the leakers are kind of saying this. They're saying March. I mean, how much can we trust leakers anymore? But they're saying March.
It would make
sense.
Do
you think it happens in March?
7-year anniversary of the Switch. I think if we're going with my hypothetical pre-planned Nintendo 2024 year, the reveal happens in March. We get maybe some little bits of news every now and then. The big presentation happens in June, July, and then it releases sometime in the last 4 months of the year. And then new Mario Galaxy 3. Actually,
that's the game. Or I mean, I would take Mario Odyssey 2 as well, or something new,
or something new. I do have some pretty funny ideas for a new Mario game, especially I think after the Mario movie. We're going to see a lot more of Mario Kart implemented into the main series, because Mario Kart is just, honestly, 3D Mario isn't Nintendo's priority anymore. It's Mario Kart. So there's that. But
sells. Yeah,
it sells. I'm excited just for whatever. I've never been in a spot where I don't know what's going to happen next, and I'm just so content with it.
I know, like, it's the most fun thing. I agree. Like, they have to make all the hard choices, and we just sit here and we just talk about it.
We just sit here on a podcast, say, hey, they should make Mario Galaxy 3. And then the devs who have put like 6 years into making like Super Mario Odyssey 2 are just in shambles, right?
Oh no. Yeah. Do you think that a 3D Mario launches with the Switch 2?
I don't know if it launches, but I think it's either going to be launching with either a new Mario Kart, although I feel like that's a bit too soon, or a Mario something of some kind. I do know Nintendo likes to, launch consoles with Zelda games. I think it was I don't know, was Twilight Princess a launch title for the Wii? I think
that was launched for the Wii, yep.
Yeah. And then obviously Wii U, nope. And although I kind of got it with Wind Waker HD, but like likes the launch in the general vicinity. I still think that a big Zelda remake has been in the works for a while now in the Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild game engine. And that's it's going to blow out of the water like anything graphically we've seen before, especially if they decide to remake an Ocarina of Time or a Wind Waker. I know that they've gotten remakes, but Ocarina of Time was remade 13 years ago and Wind Waker was 10 years ago. And that just makes me feel super old. But I think it's time. I think it's time to get a new fresh coat of paint on like one of those older titles just to show off, just like how the 3DS showed off. Hey, we can do cool 3D stuff. Here's the entirety of Ocarina of Time. We can see, here's Wind Waker, not HD, like 4K. We're not doing 4K on the console, but like basically 4K. Here's how great the game runs and looks and everything. And I think that'd be a really big seller for the opening.
And it would fit right in because at the end of like any kind of console lifespan, like the 3DS, they threw out Luigi's Mansion 2 remaster or remake, and the whole Kirby's Epic Yarn remake on
Kirby's
3DS after
Epic Yarn, yeah. Man.
Yeah, extra Epic Yarn, yeah.
It's great. It's great. I've been playing it.
They throw those out, and that would make sense with Switch. You have Luigi's Mansion 2, you have Paper Mario, throw in Wind Waker. Throw in Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and have it release on both consoles. That's how you do it.
And then it's like super graphically updated on the Switch 2, and people are going to be like, which version do I buy? And Nintendo just looks at you.
Exactly.
And says, hey, the Switch 2 just came out. Another, my probably dream game is Mario Galaxy 3. But what I think, if Nintendo drops this opening day, this Switch 2 will probably be the best-selling console of all time just because of this alone. You drop Mario Galaxy 3 packaged in with a fully remade 2-in-1. That's like beyond my wildest dreams, but that would sell so much.
The only thing with that, I feel like that would have to be a $70 game because you're throwing 3 amazing games.
Oh, 100%, 100%, and I will pay for it. I will pay for every single penny of that, because if it's like space is such a very, very good location to show off graphical capabilities because all of the stars in the background, like the skybox you have.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You can really focus in because it's just a vast expanse of space. You don't need to spend a lot of resources on the vast expanse of space because it's pretty easy to make space look good. You can just focus everything on these small little planetoids and just focus all of the graphics power into rendering like every single pore on Mario's face,
Exactly. And making any kind of remake is a big seller because if they, did remake Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 or Twilight Princess or Wind Waker, people want those. So you're gonna be more inclined to get the Switch 2. You want to sell that because Switch 2, I feel like if it's not the whole 2-screen thing, like we said, is gonna be not a hard sell, but if you look at it, NES to SNES, NES sold better. Wii to Wii U sold better. That's a bad example. But like DS to 3DS, DS sold, like the original always does better. How do you make the follow-up do better?
I think the Switch 2 won't even be called the Switch 2. I think here's my big idea for the console, right? You have the 2 screens, right? But instead of folding up like a DS like this, it folds up like this. And then you can kickstand it like this and have a screen here, and have 2-player multiplayer. That's split screen, but it's quite literally just 2 screens. And that opens up for, I know, I was playing Clubhouse games a while back. And I'm like, oh, let's play some card games. And I just couldn't play with another person locally because they needed another Switch because they needed to hide their cards. I'm like, that's dumb.
Oh, yeah.
That's dumb. So that screen approach fixes the issue, and I'm sure it offers up like a lot of cool features for gameplay as well. I know Nintendo's probably thought of that idea and is going crazy in the mind right now.
That would also work well for something like Nintendo Land 2, where you're playing a game.
Yes!
You don't want to see the other person's screen, like the secret gamepad screen. That'd be awesome right there. So, honestly, they should do that whole two. You're convincing me the whole two-screen thing is how to do it.
And then, you take it, you detach the one screen. That one of the screens is actually the console. The other one is just the controller, right? And it's just good. It's just a good concept that I hope gets made. If not this console, Nintendo is 100% watching this podcast right now and going,
they are.
We should have done that.
But they always seem to figure it out. I mean, even like when we doubted how they'd follow up the Wii, they make the Wii U. And honestly, I mean, it didn't sell well, but do you have a Wii U, right?
Oh, let me get with that dust off this guy.
Oh yeah.
This guy's the best controller I've ever held in my life. All right.
For sure. It sounds crazy. The Wii U is my favorite console.
It's mine. It's mine too.
Oh,
yeah.
We're alike.
It's crazy.
It was just like part of my childhood, which sounds weird. I mean, people think that I'm like 28. I was like 8 or 9 when prime Wii U era was like a thing.
I see.
For that, it has childhood like nostalgia for me. I could just wake up on a Saturday morning and load up Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, and it was just
Rio
a great
2016.
day.
No, not the Sochi 2014 or Vancouver
I have
2010.
That one. I have
Vancouver
that one,
2010 is the best Olympic Games, by the way.
I haven't played that one too much, but I can see you. The winter ones are pretty awesome ones.
The winter ones are the best ones.
Speaking of that, because we're just kind of all over the place, do you think that franchise or that series is coming back?
Maybe not this year, because apparently it's Summer Olympics this year. Okay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I thought it was the winter ones. I'm just as disappointed as you are. And
I think
so I can see the 2026 Olympics, Mario and Sonic doing something, because Sonic has been on the up and up again recently. Good for him. But I don't think we're just gonna get one, and that's gonna be it. It'll probably be or might just be in 2025 next year. It'll just be both. Just have both of them.
That's
both winter and summer combined into one. Just a big mini game collection. There you go.
That's not a bad idea. I would like that. Do
that.
both, because honestly, nowadays you can't really sell both individually. Like, who's buying Mario and Sonic at the wherever winter games? Like
me.
Not today.
Me.
We are, but not
no
the
one else
casuals. We are, but not the casuals. I just don't see it being sold. I think you combine the two. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I would like that. For sure.
And one reason I mainly want this dual screen kind of approach to I called it the Nintendo Next. I don't know. I thought it was cool because NX.
Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
It's just because of Have you played Affordable Space Adventures on the Wii U?
I've not. Is that the one that
this game? It's so good.
Does it use the gamepad in a cool way?
So
I've
on
heard
the
of that.
gamepad,
Yeah.
You have all of your ship controls, and then someone on a pro controller pilots the ship, and then another person can scan and shoot flares. It's the best co-op game I've ever played. It's a blast to go through, and it may destroy friendships, but
oh boy,
all in a day's work. All in a day's work to keep the spaceship running.
I have to try that. Do you know how much? Well, I was going to ask you how much it is, but it doesn't really matter anymore.
Yep, eShop's down. I have the last copy.
All right, but that's our switch to our Nintendo Direct talk. Final predictions. We think, or do we align? There's no Direct this month, or you think that it'll happen?
I think no Direct
this
month. No Direct this month. No nothing this month, actually. Mario Day, Switch reveal. Or Switch 2 reveal. June, July. Actually, I'm going to call it the dates right now.
Okay, do it. Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
I'm calling out the dates right now. Hold on. When was
Call them out.
12th, 2017? What day was that? It was a Thursday. Okay, so they're still sticking to the Thursdays. So
weekdays.
March 10th Sunday. Kind of, not typical for Nintendo to do, but I'm calling it Mario Day, or maybe they have a Mario week from like the 11th to 15th, or maybe 10 to 14th, and they announce the Switch 2 on the 14th of March instead of the 10th of March. You never know. Then we fast forward all the way to June. I'm calling it right now, June 20th. June 20th, they're going to announce, have the presentation for everything. I hope not the week after, because I'll be at VidCon and won't be able to react to it. But then scroll past July, August, like Luigi's Mansion 2 comes out sometime July, August or something like that. And then the console releases on either the 27th of September or the 18th of October. Because the Wii U launched on November 18th. And I think they just roll it back a month.
There's something about what you said, that June 20th presentation date. That June 20th just feels like something.
It has weight to it, yeah.
That has a lot of weight to it. I guess that's because Nintendo likes June for directs and bigger things. Last year's direct was June 21st. That June 20th holds some weight.
June 20th.
I do like
something about
date.
the letters and syllables just feels right.
It's something about it. But let's go ahead. Let's get to our next segment, our final segment, the Answering Your Questions segment, where you all asked us questions and we will answer them for you. Let's skadoodle. Alrighty, we have arrived at the Answering Your Questions segment. If you do want to know how to ask us questions, me or any other guest in the future, feel free. I post on my YouTube community tab. Have you ever seen those posts?
I have, and I have commented on them.
I put a cursed Nintendo image on there every single time.
Hold on.
This week, find out what it was.
Hold up.
It's my, I think, second newest post. My newest one was my dog.
I need to see this. I need it.
But while you find it, check out those posts.
Question. I'm loading it up.
Check out those posts every single Wednesday. I post them on there, and then comment down below on those posts on my community tab what your question is, and we might just answer it. However, being a channel member does guarantee that you get your question answered, so feel free to become a channel member. All links down below. cdotkom has face palms. What did you see?
I saw the Sonic. I don't.
So it's Sonic with Wario's face on it.
With Wario's face, for any audio listeners out there. Goodness gracious.
That's bad. That's really bad.
I can see that as Dr. Eggman's messed up experiment in trying to clone Sonic. It's instead of Metal Sonic, it was just this. I think that'd be a net positive for the series. Anyways.
People think that I make those things. I just search cursed Nintendo images, find these 10-minute long videos, and just screenshot one of them. It's just great. So our first question comes from Evolution Master and asks, "What is your favorite Pokemon game?" I'll let you start with the questions, and then I'll take over afterwards. Favorite Pokemon game?
Okay. My least favorite is Scarlet and Violet, but that's not the question. My favorite probably would have to be Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I played those. I don't think I ever actually beat the games, but I played them for hours on it. It had the Pokewalker, the little pedometer. I think it's right over there. I still have it, mine. It's still right over there, all beat up. It's just, it was so great. I think just the fact that it was probably one of the last 2D pixel art Pokemon games. And then there's obviously, I think, Black and White 2. And after that, it's such a homey feeling game, if that makes sense. It's very grounded adventure. And it has 2 regions in it. You got Kanto and Johto. It's great. Although I have been playing Pokemon Legends Arceus, doing a bit of a Nuzlocke for it.
That's a fun one.
That game is good. It stresses me out because I'm doing a Nuzlocke, but it is really good.
It's fun. I love that one. I couldn't get my hands off the controller while playing that one. That one's fun. And I do hear that people, I hear the favorite Heart Gold and Soul Silver choice a lot. I've never, I'm not a... I sound terrible here. I don't play Pokemon a lot. I'm actually, fun fact, in the middle of Pokemon Leaf Green, which I'm just now getting to. And that's great so far, but my answer would probably be Pokemon X, one of the only Pokemon games I've actually played.
That's one of like the first ones I played as well. I think the one directly after I played Heart Gold, didn't play any Pokemon. And I said, hey, I'll get Pokemon Y. I played through that entire thing, had a good time. For the first like foray into 3D, I thought it was a pretty good one.
My brother got me on Pokemon X, and I just loved it. It was great, because that was like, I think that must have been my introduction to Pokemon. Yeah, and I beat the game. I actually didn't beat it until like recently. I played it for hours on end. It was the fire one. Oh my gosh, I forget his name.
Fennekin?
Fennekin. Oh, there we go. Fennekin.
Fennekin, Delphox, and then I forget the third one. And I think Nintendo did too. Because in Pokken Tournament, did not have the third evolution.
I always choose the fire one for some reason. I just feel like, I mean, I never choose the grass. Water's okay, but like I have Charmeleon right now. And
nice.
Leaf Green.
Love the Pikachu SP, by the way. That's great.
Oh yeah, this isn't even a real, by the way. For our audio listeners, I have a Pikachu Game Boy Advance SP, and the original one has the buttons that are like brown. This is like a remade, reshelled one, so my buttons are actually black. So it's not authentic, but it's like close enough.
But it's
so
there.
You know,
here's something that is authentic. Audio listeners, I'm showing up my original Nintendo DS Lite I've had since, when did this release? Since 2006.
That's crazy.
This perfectly kept condition. I'm now realizing I take extremely good care of my consoles. I mean, the screen is still is a bit beat up from probably years of whatever touchscreen game I needed to do there. Had to get a new like Game Boy Advance slot in there, but it's perfectly kept. This was the Heart Gold machine.
my DS looks similar. The only thing is that bottom screen has all the stylus marks on it.
Oh,
That's the only thing. But yeah, and then Doggo7721 asks, what color GameCube should I buy? This is for the guest and you to answer. I'm a collector and wanted your guys' opinion. You first.
My GameCube is like the matte black color, and
Same.
I like it. It's good. If you can, I think the purple GameCube is iconic.
Classic.
But what I would say is to actually do get the black one, because if usually there's like dust on them or anything, it's fairly easy to clean off, and it's just a shade of black, so you can always just paint over it if you really need to. So that's what I would say on that. And it's fairly easy to like spot like marks if it's black, if it's on like purple, like the shading can look a bit weird on it, and you said, is that thing scratched? Nah, it's probably just the lighting. And then you take it back and you're like, wait a minute, it's all scratched.
Yeah, my pick, I have the black one, but honestly, if I were to buy another GameCube, I'd probably buy the orange one.
I was gonna say you look like you would buy an orange GameCube. I don't know like how that manifested in my brain.
I'm an orange GameCube guy.
Yeah, I think I saw the Super Mario Bros. Van in your background, and I said, that's an orange GameCube purchaser right there.
Heck yeah. So I don't have one, but if I did need to buy one, I would buy that. My family's GameCube is black. It is my family's GameCube, so I guess I will need to buy my own GameCube at some point to have that forever. So I guess maybe we will be buying an orange GameCube in the future.
Crazy.
But really go with your heart, but those are our opinions.
Before that next question,
Yes.
What's your favorite GameCube game? Just rapid
Animal
fire.
Crossing. It has to be, because Animal Crossing is my favorite franchise of all time. Animal Crossing is just the greatest. But outside of that, I didn't play many games because, the thing's older than I am. I could give you one game that me and my family did have. We had Monkey Ball 1. That's my favorite. So
Kirby Air Ride.
I'll give you that. Kirby. We had that one too. We had that one. That one's fun.
It's so good.
Kirby Air Ride.
Actually, you know how I said there's going to be like a little eShop Kirby game this year? Kirby Air Ride 99 Battle Royale, whatever.
Could you imagine?
City Trial, 100 Kirbys flying around, getting all upgrades. It'd be great. But 100% awesome. It's going to be Dr. Mario 99 next. I'm calling it.
Do we want that?
No, and that's why it's going to happen.
Okay, perfect. Zach Curdy gives us 3 questions. I'm not sure if we can answer them all.
All right.
Let's pick 2 of them. Hey Max, I have 3 questions. If you don't have enough time for 3, you can answer the 2 questions you would like to answer. Okay, perfect. let's do the first two. What collabs do you think Nintendo will/could make, and what would you like to see happen?
I know there was that apparent Zelda Universal thing that was going on.
Yeah.
Like we saw Miyamoto and Aonuma in the
Yes.
and the little like in like the hard hats at Universal or something.
Yep.
I think that image would have a bit more merit because I know obviously like Aonuma and Mr. Miyamoto are friends obviously. So I think that's like maybe just Eiji Aonuma is gonna go check out like the new Donkey Kong Land. But if someone like I know they're probably friends too, but probably someone like Hidemaru Fujibayashi, like the producer, the director of like Breath of the Wild, Skyward Sword, and Tears of the King. If they were there, then maybe I'd say, it's gonna be a Zelda Land. But definitely some more like theme park stuffs would be very cool to see. I haven't been to any myself yet. I want to because I think that would be pretty cool. There's things like the Kirby Cafe in Japan. Bring that over. Like, can I get a Kirby Cafe in Toronto, please, Nintendo?
Come on, everywhere.
I would just really appreciate it. I put one everywhere, actually. I'd go. I can make a video. I went to every Kirby Cafe,
There you go. Yeah. What collabs? Well, this is pretty universal. I think, no pun intended. Not like, the Universal Studios.
Really?
I think... What would I like to see happen? I would like to see just more like collaboration games. Like one thing that I want, and I've talked about, is like a Mario Kart, but like let everyone in. Let everyone from every single franchise ever into Mario Kart.
That just reminded me. I have such a good idea for a new Mario Kart game.
Talk to me.
God. Okay. So Mario Kart 9, or I guess that's 2, or Mario Kart 10, Mario Kart X, whatever you want to call it. Not X, that is a bad reputation now. I love Twitter. And
yes.
Here's what I think is going to happen. So, you know how in Smash Brothers, no one really used the feature, but it was called Stage Morph in Ultimate, where one stage would like rise up and bam, all of a sudden be playing on another stage. I want them to do that with Mario Kart. So like once you play like a Grand Prix in like, I don't know, X mode or something, like X Games mode or something, I don't know. And once you finish a lap, like you finish lap 3 on Dolphin Shoals, right? And then all of a sudden, like everything goes all bright, rainbow lights, and then the track you're playing on transitions to, let's say, Mario Circuit 3. And instantly you're into Mario Circuit 3. And just the race never stops until you finish like the final like amount of laps. I think that would be that'd be pretty cool just to not stop racing until it just finishes. So no load times or anything like that to kind of flex the Switch 2 power a bit,
That would be awesome. That's way better than my idea. My idea was like have weather, like thunderstorms make you slip and slide a little more. That's stupid now think about it.
Well, I mean, technically that would still work if you have the going from track to track. If you go to Neo Bowser City, it's pouring rain. And then you go to Moo Moo Meadows.
That's true.
And it's like, it's all nice and morning,
Nice, yeah. And then, next question. What are your favorite/recommended Nintendo games, each in terms of story, open world, and replayability, respectively? That's a lot. Let's just go, what are your favorite/recommended Nintendo games?
Okay. Now, I said earlier in the podcast that my favorite game is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And... it's definitely a more mature. I think those games should be rated M. Not necessarily because there's like a lot of death in them, which there is, but like the topics get heavy in it.
Yeah.
So if you want a story game that's pretty heavy, I'd recommend playing Xenoblade. And those games have at least the third one, which is obviously my personal favorite. Its world is massive. It's great. One area is quite literally just Wind Waker for a part of it, and there's so many ways you can replay it. But I'd say a Switch game everyone should play is Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
That's a fun one, and it's nice and casual. I'm listening to you on your Xenoblade recommendation.
Yeah. Have
I've
you
not
played any?
Xenoblade. I've not.
You have not?
Not once. And this sounds so bad.
Everyone says the games are super long. They are not. At most, at most, if you're just gunning main story, which is what most people do, it'll take you 45 to 50 hours, which is still longer than your usual. But if you play through Tears of the Kingdom, you're probably spending 80 hours. There's like the same thing, right?
Makes sense. For me, I can do the same thing. I can give a game that I played recently that is pretty awesome, but also kind of niche, and then like a pretty broad appealing game. This is going to sound weird. One game that I played recently that is, Nintendo's newest release, another Code of Recollection, has seriously made it to my top 3 Switch games of all time.
Really? I've been wanting to play that. I just haven't found the time with, everything. And, my fifth replay of Xenoblade 3.
I'm probably overhyping it. But something about it, like, for me, I don't know. For me, it was like the story. I felt too many things. There were so many twists and turns. Play the demo first.
All right, yeah. You're going to love Xenoblade.
Because a lot of people don't like that game. A lot of people don't like, the another Code games. I like it so much so I went back and bought Trace Memory and the other original game that didn't even release in America. I bought that one. Sealed, actually. I found a steal on eBay. Sealed for $50. I was like, you know what? I'm taking it.
Goodness, that is a... I wonder where they got it from, dear Lord.
They've held on to that. And when they saw the remake get announced, they were like, oh, I'm rich. They should have skyrocketed that price. But yeah, I'd recommend that. And then for like a casual game, I could give you, you said Kirby, I would give you, let's go. Well, I can't say Mario Wonder. That's a little too, Mario Wonder's a bit too mainstream.
Pikmin 4.
That's it. Yeah, let's go Pikmin 4.
Oh, how'd you get that?
That's my top. That's my second favorite Switch game.
Pikmin 4 was my game of the year last year. 100%.
Yeah, same. That game was awesome.
So good.
I couldn't stop playing it. It was great.
If you guys want a game that is a joy from 0% completion to 100% completion, play Pikmin 4. That is a phenomenal game right there.
Pikmin 4 is
you can tell the developers really cared about Pikmin 4.
I agree. There's so much time put into it.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Dodge Bros YT says, "Hey Max, I wanted to ask both of you, do you miss Streetpass on the 3DS, or is it more of something in the past for you?"
I mean, I was lonely. so I never really used Streetpass. I mean, I think at most I went to a convention one time, put my 3DS in my pocket, put it in sleep mode, and then I'd get back home and look at it and say, "Oh wow, 2 people are in my town now." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." Nice. That's about it. Me personally, I didn't really care for Street Pass. I know that it's different for a lot of other folks. I know there's like custom Street Pass events like run by Nintendo. But yeah, I was never really one for it. I was just, let me play my single player games alone in my room for hours at a time. And that was about it for me.
I'm like you. I didn't take much advantage of it. But like looking back at all the games, it was so awesome because while you don't really get it anymore today because everyone, no one's bringing their 3DS out unless it's like for a gaming convention or something because that's kind of like a known thing. You bring your 3DS, you get Street Passes. Looking back at like games, I think Animal Crossing New Leaf, if you Street Pass with somebody, you can like see their house in your game like later on that day. It's like so cool.
Oh, that's really... I'm lonely, so I never saw that. Look at that.
I didn't see it either, but I think I went over there like to where you would see their houses, and they were like, "Hey, if you Street Pass, you can see the houses." Things like that are so cool, and I wish they would have it today because with how well the Switch sold, you would get so many Street Passes. Just bring it in the car. Bring it in the car would get you like 10.
Especially because the Switch is always in sleep mode, right? So
yeah, exactly.
It's never in like a definitive off state. That would be pretty cool. I wish for the next... I know we keep talking about Switch 2 stuff, but I wish that there's just a bit more life to the menus and UI and everything. Because, I mean, I know the simplistic look has served served it well. It was never like I never took ages trying to find games. The menus are quick and snappy, right? If I wanted to go change settings on the Wii U, I'd have to wait like 2 minutes to get to what I wanted.
It sucks.
And now it takes like 10 seconds. So I would prefer waiting, 20 seconds to go to the settings if it meant, maybe the icons could just pop a bit more. There'd be some, beep boops in the background for menu music and all of that. It's definitely the charm of like these old Nintendo consoles is part of the reason why people have such nostalgia for them in the first place.
Exactly. Yes.
So I can't see with the people going back like, oh man, I really miss the Switch menus, Like I don't see that happening.
And the Switch is like one of their first menus that like had no life. Like at least put some bangers like in the settings menu. Put a banger in there. Put a nice theme song on the home menu.
Yeah,
that's how you
dark mode and light mode.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Wii U theme is stuck in my head forever, and it's not going to happen with the Switch now. So that kind of sucks.
It's just going to be white noise up there.
GameCube, even the GameCube like home menu.
Yeah, how it went like
creepy sounds. Like even that's stuck up there. So the Switch not having it kind of sucks. But I actually have hope because I feel like Nintendo is very good about listening. Maybe that's just me. So I feel like next console we could have themes and music and things like that. But I mean, you can still have that kind of stuff without taking the settings menu 8 minutes to load up, so I think just enough to where it has life, but it's not going to take you too long to, get to.
I think the Wii U menus were just slow because it was just the beefed up Wii,
Yeah.
If they make the system from the ground up using the Switch's kind of architecture as a base, I think it'll be able to do all the things that it needs to do while also, playing an MP3 file over top of it, hopefully. While having some cute little icon animations or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. All right.
Nice.
That'd be awesome. Then our final question from Lodge Gaming. Do you think Nintendo is going to make the next console an absolute beast or base it on fun?
Ooh, okay. Let's see. Now, here's the question. With all of the consoles Nintendo has put out, have any single one of them be considered just as powerful as the other competing consoles at the time? Because I think the answer is no, for the most part.
The 3DS. I was going to make a joke.
The 3D,
no.
Yeah. Right? Because you got the, where is it? You got, like, people look at this, right?
Yes.
And say, what is this, right? When I saw this controller for the first time, I'm like, what is this? And then I played Ocarina of Time, and I said, oh my god, I get it now, right? If Nintendo decides to base their console off of a super powerful chip or anything like that to achieve hyper realistic graphics, I think that they doom the console to fail. I think that the Nintendo, I guess, charm, yet again, Nintendo Switch has games. I think putting too much work into having a console that is super high on the specs graph, it doesn't need like a 4090 Ti or whatever to make a super realistic game, because at the end of the day, you're not playing the Switch 2 for the hyper realistic reflections off of Mario's Kart in Mario Kart. You're playing it for Mario Kart, right? And I think that's something that a lot of people end up getting caught up in nowadays, is that a console's power in terms of graphical capability and fidelity does not determine its worth. What determines it really is the games. And does it have good games? It better have good games, because if it doesn't have good games, that's not a good console, If it's not fun, why bother? That's what I say.
Yep. If it's not fun, why bother? Yeah, I mean, I definitely see it being based on fun. Obviously, each console is going to have more power. That's no surprise at all. I'd be pretty upset if the Switch 2, whatever it is, had the same power as the Switch. That would suck.
I don't think that would happen. But if it would, I would laugh a lot, personally. I think that'd be really funny.
How many units does that sell?
If it's just the exact same, I think that's a Wii U situation. If it's the exact same. There has to be a
think it's
noticeable
worse.
jump. There has to be a noticeable jump from the Switch to the Switch 2 in order for people to go, oh, it's a new console, right? But there also has to be different enough from the Switch to distinguish that, you know, it's not just an add-on like the Wii U was suggested to be by so many people. So all I'm saying, the dual screen approach, it's gonna work.
It would be perfect. But
really
yeah,
would.
definitely they'll base it on fun. They've never been about the biggest, baddest console. If they ever have, or if they ever do, it'll probably fail. So yeah, they'll make it fun somehow. I think it'll look very noticeably different from the Switch that we have now. Like whether it's the dual screens or whatever it is.
I think the concept of Joy-Cons will still stay.
Yeah.
But this time, instead of having like 1, 2 for the controllers, it'll be 1, 2, and then 3 for the screen that you can slide on top of the ridge there. And like that, you'll still have to carry around like the base console, but then you can have the top screen and then the right and left Joy-Cons in there. And then that top screen's on a hinge. You can flip it around whatever way you want. And I just think it's going to open up a lot more gameplay opportunities, especially for more casual players. I mostly play my Switch when it's docked, hooked up to my capture card. And so I don't really get a chance to play handheld that often. But whenever I do, it's always a fun time, whether it be with like friends or otherwise, or whether I'm using doing brain training with my stylus, doing Sudoku on it, like a drawing tablet, stuff like that. Nintendo's always innovating and iterating on their past designs. I know that there's been, I don't want to bring up rumors again, but they've said that the Switch 2 is going to be an iteration and not a revolution. And the Wii U to the Switch was not a revolution. It was just another iteration. So if we see another iteration like that again, I'm just all here for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be fun to see what they do. Will they add one more screen? Will they make it super fat? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? But that is going to bring us to a close for the Mario Matter episode number 76. Thank you so much, Charlie, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Let the people know where they can find you online.
You can find me at youtube.com/c/cdotkom. C.com, not a website. Don't go there. Don't know where it leads. But yeah, I don't even think it's a real website, but don't go there just in case.
I'm going to try it right now. Let's try it.
Oh, goodness gracious.
C.com. We're having trouble finding that site. C.com does not exist, but C.com on YouTube does.
You know why you can't find the website? Because the website's right here.
There you go.
I am the website.
C.com on YouTube. Thank you again. That will bring us to a wrap. We'll see you next Saturday for some more, hopefully. There's no more rumors, no more leaks. It should be a swell time. We'll see you then. Adios.
Whoa.